G'day folks, well this is the crazy unicorn cube, and this is a little bit different to the normal unicorn cube, as obviously it's got these circle parts and every face is basically a zero face. In other words, the parts inside the circles stay fixed on the face. Now this is a bit of a step up from the unicorn cube, so I'm going to take you through it. The first thing to do is to know how to scramble it, and that's simply to make sure you do 180 turns initially. And the reason for that is that you want to be able to turn these triangles in some way while you're scrambling. So you can do that. Then you can do a few more 180s. Again, just so that you can turn triangles. And you'll notice that the triangle parts, so this orange, green, yellow, is fixed in here. It can't go anywhere, so you might want to then just maybe turn them so they don't go back to where they started. This is generally what I would do. Oops, I just did that one, and perhaps that one there, this one here. Do a few more 180s and then just have a look at how things are shaping up. You can see there's still some attachment going on here. So at this point, what I've got to now do is start doing single turns. You can see that really messes things up quite significantly. So I would just start doing single turns all over the place. And what I'm looking for is just things like this not to happen. So in order for that, I might turn that off and then maybe turn that one. Just keep scanning. It actually looks pretty good up the top. That looks reasonable as well. I can't really see anything that's obviously still together. There's one that's now I'm on the bottom layer. So I might be happy just to take that, but I could turn it off and just see if that changes anything else. I don't reckon it does. So that's a reasonable scramble there. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to note that there are certain pieces which can't leave their orbits. And I'm talking about these little pieces here. So for example, you'll notice that this orange green, they are joined together. So if I turn this face, they don't move. If I turn this face, they don't move. If I turn this face, not only do they move, they must move together. And that tells me that I can turn this until I get them lined up where they should go. There's no other way they can leave that orbit. What I'm going to find is once I've got that done, the other two on the other side will be done as well. The red, blue will be done. I can do the same thing down here. I can just keep turning until I see a red piece there and hope that it matches the green, yes, and then blue, orange. So if you like the top and the bottom are done, I would maybe do the same thing with the left and right. That looks good. You can see blue, yellow in there, so the other side will be done. Let's try this side. Yep, white, blue there, so that's good. And now the front and the back, and I'll just turn it around to make them into left and right effectively. That looks good, and that looks good. And so now what we should see is where the center parts point towards a corner, all of these parts should match up. There should be two greens, two whites, two oranges. We should look at this anywhere and see the same thing. Two yellows, two greens, two reds. So that's what I mean by get these pieces which can't leave their orbit, get them back into place. Now the next thing that we want to do is make these corners turnable so that we can actually achieve things. The way to do that is to flip the edges. We could of course just turn them in as if we're solving these edge bases. So for each of these edges we've got this piece here and we've got this piece which I'm calling an edge base. But the easiest thing is just to basically go, you can see the line here, so I need that line to continue there, and I need to continue there. Well, if I flipped this edge and I flipped this edge, that's exactly what would happen. So I would just use a normal edge flipping routine. And in this case, that flips those top two edges and just doesn't touch that one. You can see now that line is really nicely done there. So you can just keep moving around the puzzle. I don't need to flip that one, but I do need to flip these two. Something's just about to pop there, I can just feel that. Let me just get that. Okay, my life just flashed before my eyes then. I'm not going to try and redo, I don't actually know where I was, so I'm just going to double check that all the relevant bits are where they should be, which I think they are. I'm talking about these little bits that we got done in the first mini step. I think they look good. Okay, so let's just go back to here. That one looks good, but I know this one and this one do not. So I'll flip them and I'll attempt to turn it a little bit more gingerly this time. Okay, they're done. So what you can see now is that corner there is perfectly turnable. That's what we're aiming for. Here and here are two edges that need to be flipped. That one is now perfectly turnable. Let's have a look on this. That one's good. This one, you can see that I've got two here to flip. You're never going to get a situation where there's only one edge to flip. That's impossible. Okay, so that one is now turnable. So that means all of these corners are turnable. Now, what we need to do, because we've now enabled that, is have a look at getting the rest of these little well, actually, before we do those circles, I was going to say these little circle parts here, but before we do that, I'm now going to just quickly turn the triangles into place. And it's almost a non-event because it's just one turn there, that's already done. That's one turn, and that one's already done. So, yeah, just check that that's done. And now we're going to look at these little circle parts here, if you like. So, the way that we're going to do this is we're going to look at the colors. So for example, if I look at this one here, I've got a blue, white, and please ignore the outer edge parts. I'm talking about these inner circle parts. So there's a blue, white there, there's a green, red there, and the third one on this corner is an orange, white. So what I'm going to search for first is one of these joint parts. So obviously the green red can be treated as one piece. I'm going to search for one that just needs to turn on a corner to go into place. And so you'll see that of those three that I just mentioned, none of them do that. So I'll search over here. This is not essential, it's just what I've found to be the easiest way to do it. Okay, here you can see there is a green, white, and you can see that matches with this center. So if I was to turn this corner, let's hold it up like this, there's my green, white. If I was to turn it like that, that green and that white would now be in the correct position. Now clearly I can't just turn it like that because I've now dislodged those triangles. So what I need to do here is do that turn and then replace that with something else from 180 degrees away on this corner, and then undo those moves. So this is a 4-move sequence. So I would normally, if I turn that green white up there, I think, well, that is going to come from the same position as this blue yellow. So that position there. In that position at the moment is a green yellow. That might be good. Let's see what that does, because if I'm turning the green white onto here, it's really a 3 cycle of the green white to the blue yellow to the green yellow. Now what I note is that the blue yellow is going to end up going down here, and that will place perfectly into that there. So that's good. All I really need to do is make sure that the piece that's in here is not already done, which of course it can't be if that's the blue yellow. So let's demonstrate this. I turn the green white into its position. I bring another piece up here, which in this case is the green yellow. I turn this back and I undo that move. Now let's have a look at what's happened. The green white is now in position. That blue yellow that was sitting up here has also gone to position, and remember the green yellow that was sitting in that position is now up here. So it is essentially just a 3 cycle of those pieces, and that's really all we're doing. Going to search for something that's not yet done but can be turned on the corner and go from there. So I'm just having a look at the moment across all of these. It doesn't seem to be any on that corner. No, that's already done. And it may well be that there are none, and I reckon that might be what's happening here. I don't reckon there are any. I think I've looked at them all and I can't find any that are obviously going to turn. So if you can't find any, the next thing to do is just look at 180 degrees away and see if you can find something. So for example, let's say that I want to fill this white-red position here. I would firstly look down to this corner and see if there's a white-red piece. There's not. That's green-red, white-orange and white-blue. Where is the white-red piece? It's not there, so it must be on this other corner. Is it here? Nope. It shall be found. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's over here. Now I've got to go back and say, where was my white-red? Okay, that's the position that I'm looking to fill. This one here. But I note that the white-red is over here. So in other words, if it's here, it's going to turn 180 up like that. So that means I might just need to do a little bit of a setup move first so that I've got my white-red into that correct position to turn 180 upwards, and so that it comes up to that region. That's what I'm thinking. Now, what I'm then thinking is the white-red position is actually got a green-yellow. So what I would do is first turn that green-yellow around to here to receive my white-red piece. Here's the 4 moves again. I'll firstly turn the green, and I've got to get this the correct way, turn the green-yellow like that, so now it's here. Turn the white-red up, undo, and you can always tell by matching the triangles, and then undo that as well. Now what you'll notice, apart from the triangles being back, is this white-red has now been filled. Down here, we did have to do a setup move. So we can just undo that with turning the triangles back into place, and we're done again. So what the 2 little methods there that I've just shown you are the general technique for getting these back. Sometimes it's really easy. They're all kind of sitting on the triangles or the corners, and you just turn. Other times you've got to do a bit of thinking. I think this one looks like it's going to be a bit of thinking. So I've got a yellow-green here, and I can tell that that has to go up to this position of the white-orange. So firstly, I'll get the yellow-green into the position so that it can turn up to here. It might already be in that position. It is. No, it's not. That was the white-green. Where did my yellow-green go? Or did I actually say white-green? This does get pretty confusing. If you haven't tried one of these cubes, give it a go. Just there's so many colours sitting here. Did I say white-green? I don't know. Let's pretend that I did. That white-green has to go to this position with the green-yellow. Okay, let's get that white-green again. It's sitting here. I'm going to just test it. I think that's the position it needs to be. Yes, that's the position. You can see that it matches up there with those triangles. So that's the position that I need to have it initially. Now I'm going to turn it onto the green-yellow. The green-yellow, I'm going to look for another piece here that needs to be, well, it's not yet done, and that's clearly the blue-orange. So I don't want to involve the red-white because I've already done that. I'm just going to make sure I turn the white-green upwards and then put the blue-orange into its place. And you'll see the green-white or the white-green is already done. Just undo that setup and we're good. Okay, nothing obvious there. That's only got the green-yellow on it. I do have a feeling that's what I was trying to get done just before, and I might I'll give that one a go again. So the green yellow has got to be this position. Now the question is, can I get this up to there? At the moment it's not, it's turning like that. So I've got to think, if I was to set that up by putting it there, then I can get that green yellow up to that position. However, at the moment when I turn it, it's going to land in the yellow orange position. I need it to land in the green yellow position, which contains this white blue piece. So what I would do again is just to turn the white blue piece into the correct position. I'm going to turn the green yellow onto it, and then I'm just going to think which is my other piece that I'm going to involve. In this case, none of those three are done, so it doesn't actually matter. So I'm going to turn the green yellow up to here. I wonder what that comes from. Green yellow comes from, just have a look, it comes from the red green. So if there was a red green piece up here, I would actually try and involve that, and there is a red green piece up here, so I can do two, get two done. So I said the first thing that I would do, I've got the green yellow ready, get its green yellow position ready, and then I'm going to involve this red green as my third piece. So that means I'll turn it up, then the red green that's here I'm going to turn onto that position, undo and undo. Now we'll notice the green yellow has been done. If we come back here and put these back, we'll also notice that red green has been done, and that corner is completely, I guess you could call it, reduced in that sense. Okay, so here I've got a white orange and a white blue on that corner. What have we got over here? We've got one, two, all three of them have not been done. Orange, yellow, blue, orange. Still, it's a bit of an annoying one, this one. That's okay. It looks though like that corner's completely done. Yeah, and all the rest of the three are not. So let's perhaps have a look at blue, white. Is that going to go anywhere? No, it's not a nice easy one. I've got a white orange up here. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to get the white orange firstly in the position where it can turn up to this corner. You can see the white orange is sitting there. That's where I want it to be. Now the position needs to be where this red yellow piece is. Now on this particular corner I noticed that there's also a red blue and a green orange that's not yet done. So I could turn either of them. So once again I would look at this thing and say, what is this coming from? This actually white orange is coming from yellow orange. So if I had a yellow orange piece up here, I would use it. As it happens I don't, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm about to turn my white orange up. The white orange is that position there, so let's turn it up, put another one on, undo, undo, and of course I had that setup move there at the start, and I also had a setup move here. Okay, so the white orange is done. Now, green, orange, yellow, red, I might just have a look and yep, it looks like that green orange can come up to this corner here. This time the green orange is the white blue piece, and I have a red blue that's not done. Now I know that the white blue is back here, but I think the green orange and the white blue essentially need to swap, so I can't really get both of them done. So what I will do is, I know I don't want to involve the green yellow, so I'll turn that white blue into position ready to take this green orange, and then I'll just remember not to involve the green yellow when I do this. So that one's done. I'll turn the red blue into position, undo that. Now I can put my corners back. Yep, the green yellow is there. I've got the white blue lonely up there. What have we got on this corner? Red yellow and blue red. Okay, I would turn that over, and so I've got a blue white here that needs to come up to this corner. And it needs to go into this red, yellow. No, it doesn't. It needs to go into the red, blue position. So initially, which way is it? Yeah, I think it was that way. Blue, white. Put it into that turning position so it can turn up to here. Replace with red, yellow. Undo. Undo. That's looking good. And down here, we'll just turn that back. Now that's another corner. Oh no, it's not. It's nearly completed. What have we got left? A red, yellow, which needs to go to the orange, yellow, which needs to go to... okay, so back to the red, yellow. So the red, yellow and the orange, yellow need to swap. I've also got an orange, blue, and the blue, red, which need to swap. So I'm down to 2 swaps. So I just want to take care of one of these at the moment and leave myself with a 3 cycle. Alright, so it doesn't really matter which one I do. I've got a red, yellow here. Where's that going? So that red, yellow, it's got to go over to... Yeah, it's got to go to this position here. Now, in order to turn the red, yellow up to here, I've got to have it... Let's see, is it that way? It is that way. So the red, yellow can come up like that. Now I want the red, yellow to turn onto this orange, yellow position. So I'm going to set that up again. And I just remember the third piece is this orange, blue. So, yep, we've got the orange, yellow position there. Ready to turn it up to that. And then the orange, blue is that third piece. So I'll turn it up. Turn the orange, blue on. Undo. Now we'll see that there is one remaining here, the yellow, orange, and on this corner I've got an orange, blue. That means there'll be another corner which contains one piece to do. There it is, red, blue. So I've now got 3 of these things remaining. So I've just got to find, it's a little bit tricky because they're on 3 different corners. So when this happens, you kind of have to sacrifice one of your pieces up on one of the other corners. I don't want to use that one, that's completely done. Perhaps I could use this one, because I actually need 2 pieces on the same corner with my last 3 cycle. So let's grab that red, blue. Yeah, I'm going to grab that red, blue piece, and I'm going to put this orange, blue down to this corner. I'm actually going to complete this corner here, which means I'm going to sacrifice one of these things. So I'm going to move the red, blue up there, replace it with this orange, blue, move it down, undo. Now you might think, what has that done? Well, the first thing it's done is got that corner completely done, but it's also, you'll see now, put 2 pieces onto this corner, which means I'm going to have one corner with 2 pieces, and then there'll be a second corner with the last piece that I need. So now I'm at the situation which I had right at the start of this, where I just do a single turn to turn one of these in. So it looks to me like it's going to be the green, yellow is going to do a turn in like that. Okay, so the green, yellow is going to turn in like that. What I'm thinking is, where is it turning from? Now, it's turning from here, but I know there's no piece on that corner that I can use, which then tells me, okay, I've got to use another corner. The piece is actually over here, so it has to turn in from this direction, which means I've got to look at this now and say the orange, yellow, which piece is that orange, yellow going to? It's going to the yellow, green, which means I've got to have the yellow, green sitting there ready to receive that orange, yellow. So the orange, yellow will now turn around to the yellow, green, and then I'll replace that with the red, blue, which will come back and complete this. Okay, so orange, yellow, replace with red, blue, undo. Now the last thing is just to turn these corners back. Looks like that other one was already there. And that's probably the hardest I've ever had, I reckon. Just the most annoying and things not coming easily. So you can see now that all of these circle parts are completely done. So that is a reasonably major stage of the puzzle to do that. And as I say, often it takes me far less time than it did then. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is to place my edge bases. And all I'm doing here is I'm just going to place them as if I'm solving a Rubik's Cube. So by the edge base, what I mean is this yellow-orange piece here, this orange-white piece here. That's what I'm calling an edge base. And I'm just going to pretend that that's all I care about. So, for example, I see here that I've got a white-blue base, and that's got to go over here. So if I just turn that up like that, it's in position. Now, what you'll notice is that I don't really want to just do that because I've put these things out. So what I'm going to have to do is basically do an edge piece series every time. Just do a down, down, up, up type thing. So if I go down, down, up, up, what it does is it puts that white blue in position, but it also keeps the circle parts sitting there, and that's what I want. It does not matter that this is now flipped because all of that is going to come back at the end of this section. Okay, so I'll just see if there's any whites down the bottom. There's a white red, so that's got to go to that position. So again, I'll do a 4-move sequence to put it there, and you'll notice it just keeps all those circle parts where they should be. I've got a white orange that is in position but needs to be flipped, and somewhere else there's a white green. So I could take that white orange out and then just bring it up like that. And the white green, oh, here it is. Okay, so that means I've just got to take that down to the bottom layer, and I can then bring it up as normal. All of this just using really, really simple turns. Okay, so all of those white edge bases are in. I would then go and place these middle layer edge bases. So here's a red-green sitting here. I'll just turn that around. Yes, it has disrupted these, but this will come back at the end. I can put it back now if I want, doesn't really matter. Red-green. What's another one that's on the top? There's a blue-orange, and you can see that's got to turn down to that position. There's a red-blue, so I will just turn that around and put that in. That should leave me with just one to go, so I'll now use this to get the yellow ones on the top done. Now I can now go and put these back into position because I know that's where things have to be. So I'm looking for the yellow-red to go there, or the yellow-blue. And I notice the yellow-red is at the back, and it just needs to go around one turn to place that. So temporarily, I'll bring it around like that, move it to that position, and then undo. That yellow-red is now in. The yellow-blue has to go back to that position, so I might just bring it down into this middle layer, and then to put it on here, that's now in position. Now that will leave me with 3 edges remaining, and it'll just be the same as for any standard Rubik's Cube. In other words, you might find this situation where one is in position, the other 2 are in position but flipped, or you might find a simple 3 cycle. You will not find a swap of 2 edges, because if that happened, what we would normally do on a Rubik's Cube is turn this upper face one turn, but you can see that will put all of these things out. So it's going to be fairly simple. This one here is just both of these need to be flipped, and you can see when I do that, it'll also complete the triangle here as well. And so that has now completed those edge bases, and all of the circle parts are still in their positions. Well, we now come to the next fairly major section of this puzzle, and that is to place the edge attachments. I don't know what I'm calling them. I'm talking about this green-red piece here. This little part is key to knowing how to do this on the future planetary unicorn puzzles as well. So it's very simple. I'm going to find and show you just an example, a couple of examples, and then skip through to the end. So green-orange, I note that green-orange needs to go over to here. So I'm looking for a piece that's either going to go across in a line like that, or a piece that turns on a corner. So if I was to turn that green-orange across to here, I could then replace that with one of these two. Let me show you how it's done. So I can't just turn it like that. What I need to do, and the reason I can't just turn it like that and then replace it, is because if I did, you'll see it will break the parts that we've already done. So what I need to do, instead of simply turning that once, is do that, and it puts that piece where I need it, but it keeps everything else good. Now I just can turn one of these other ones down and undo those moves. Alright, so having done that, I can then clearly see that's got to go back, and that green-orange has now been attached to its base. Now it just so happens, I think that yellow-orange also went in, which is good. Now, so let me see if there's another one like that. If there's not, I'll show you one using a corner. I don't reckon there is. Okay, so the next type, I can see there's a blue-white here that needs to turn around the corner to that position. So that's really simple. I'll do that move first, and then I think I want to replace that with something else. Now what I would do is look here to the base and see that the base is blue-orange, and I would look along this same line and see if the blue-orange was sitting there, and it actually is. So what I would like to do, you can see that it's down here, so I would like to turn my corner around, and I want to replace this whole thing now with that blue-orange part. So to do that, I'll turn the pieces like that so you can see the blue-orange part comes back. Now, when I undo the corner turn, the blue-orange has gone in. Now I've just got to undo these turns. And what we've achieved there is that blue-white has gone in and the blue-orange also has gone in. So that is your general technique. Let me just do one more before I cut through. I was hoping there'd be another one just turning along the line, but there's not. So, for example, here's a red-yellow that's got to go there. I'd look at the base and say that's red-blue. Can I find a red-blue somewhere? This is actually a good example of a little setup, actually. The red-blue's here, but it's not on this line. But I note that if I do a setup like that, it suddenly becomes on the line. So now I'm going to turn the red-yellow into the position that it belongs, and now I want to replace it with this red-blue part. So I will turn this face and then this face, because it will turn these three. It'll put that there, and it'll get this one out of the way. You can see that's nicely attached. Undo the corner turn, and now undo these turns. There was a setup here, and you can see that is done. I can't even remember if that's the one we were trying to do. That certainly was. Not too hard. Let's continue with this. Okay, well, we're down to the last four. So I've got a swap of white, red and white, green. I've also got a swap of the green, yellow, which is in the white, orange position, and the white, orange, which is in the green, yellow position. So I would just find something that I can do here. For example, I would turn the white, red into that white, red position, because I know that there's a third piece that I can use here. So we'll take care of that one first. And that'll leave me with 3 to go. I'm hoping that they're not actually on the same line, so I can demonstrate what to do. This is actually a nice, difficult, this is probably one of the more difficult setups. So I've got the 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3. You can just see that they're all on different, there's none where I've got 2 on the same axis, I guess. So what I do here is just find one that I want to deal with. So as an example, I would first think what would happen. I would just think this through and go, well, I could do that, and that would put those 2 on the same line. The problem is that this one is over here. Now that's actually not the world's biggest problem, because I could turn it up to here and then that would be fine. So I might do that. I'll just have a think if there's anything else that makes more sense. Could turn this one to here, which will still leave me with that same problem. Yeah, I don't think there's any obvious logical thing here. So what I'm going to do is initially put the green red up to that position so it can be on this triangle. To do that, again, I'm not just going to turn like that, I'm going to do the full 4 moves. So that green red is temporarily sitting there. Now, I've got the yellow green. Now I'm going to turn that onto here, so I've got to put the triangle piece there. So the yellow green can turn to here, and then that green red will function as my 3rd piece. So now I'm ready to go. Okay, I'll turn the red green into it. You can see that now attaches to that base. Undo these moves. And then of course undo the corner turn. The last thing to undo was this setup here, and if you get stuck you can go, well, the orange yellow's got to go there, the orange white's got to go here, so that must tell me the piece movement. Okay, and so even with that, that was one of the trickier ones, but they're really not that bad. You just need to do a couple of setup moves and you're good. Now you'll notice that at this point what we're down to is basically just solving the corners, and that is the last stage of the solve. So again, I'll use the corner piece series here just like I did for the unicorn cube, and I'm just looking for a corner that rolls along a side or a back or something like that. In this case, this blue, white, orange is going to go here, and this will go up in that direction. So I'll use a clockwise upper turn initially. Places that one. Yep, I've got a green, white, red here that can roll across the back and then utilize this one. These will look annoying. So yellow, blue, orange. No, that's not going to go. Red, blue, yellow. No, that's in position and that's in. Yeah, this is quite annoying. So what I would do in this case, because there's nothing that is obviously going to roll or go across the diagonal, and there's a couple of corners that are in position but twisted, I would just use any 3 of these and get them out of where they are. So that will go to here, that'll be okay. Yellow, orange, blue, that'll be okay. Green, yep. So I'm just going to do that as a way of getting some better setups, I guess. Now let's see if that does help. It does, because I've got the red, green, yellow, which has got to go across the diagonal there now. The other thing that I can do is just set it up so that it goes across the back. I might even do that, just makes it easier to see what's going on. Undo the setup, and you can see that's now beautifully put the red, yellow, blue here, so it can roll across the side or the back, whatever works for us. I've got another couple down here, so I might just grab this one, the orange, white, green, and put it in that 3rd position because I want it out of that position anyway. So I'll do this movement now, an anti-clockwise turn of the upper face. Undo that setup. I think that'll leave me with 3 pieces, and again this is really annoyingly set up. Orange, white, green to there, orange, blue, yellow to there, blue, white, red over to here. Now, sometimes there's a way you can do 2 turns and they will just magically fall into the correct positions. I don't think that's the turns that I've done. No, I don't like that. It doesn't really matter. You can make things a little bit easier for yourself by just putting them in position and then flipping them. And I might even end up just doing that. Yeah, so I think in this case that's what I'll do. I'll get 2 of them, turn 2 setup moves so that all 3 of them are on the same face. So now I've got these 3 on the same face, and I'll just put them in the correct position. So I can see the white, blue, red has got to go across to here. So that's how I'm going to move them. So an anti-clockwise upper face turn. Let's undo those moves. I almost can't remember what I did first. Was it? I think it's that one and that one. Okay, and you can see now that all 3 are in position, and importantly, all 3 have got to rotate anti-clockwise. That one, and that one. And I did say at the start, I think you're not going to get a situation with a single twisted corner. If I didn't say that at the start, I'm saying it now. You're not going to get a situation like on the unicorn cube where you have a single twisted corner with this puzzle. So in order to rotate these now, I would rotate this one first and then bring this other one around and do it. So to rotate this one, it's going anti-clockwise. You can see the white is turning up like that, so I turn the front face first in order to rotate it. And I'm going to be doing an up, up, down, down, and I'm going to do that twice. Up, up, down, down. You'll see that has successfully rotated that. Now I bring another one into position and undo. So this time the right face gets turned first. Up, up, down, down. Up, up, down, down. All right, undo that. That one's done. And now what I'll find is that one of these will be a clockwise rotation, the other will be an anti-clockwise. So this one, let's do this first. That's rotated. And undo. And there we go, that is done, and there won't be any more surprises at the end. And that is our crazy unicorn cube solved.